All right, reason why, okay, so while I'm figuring this out, I will tell you a little story of how I kind of got into this. It started as an Instagram famous trend, which was mainly focused on how the sun rises and sets in the middle of a street or the grid of the city, and it happens twice a year. The term is called Phillyhenge. It's a parody of the term Stonehenge. The structure is Stonehenge. It was built 5,000 years ago, and where the sun was rising in the summer solstice and setting in the winter solstice, and so it was pretty much an artificial sundial that uh, revealed the time and everybody's place in the what time and what season and what year it is. And so it's a similar phenomenon applies here in Philly, where the grid that William Penn built allows for the sun to rise and set twice a year in April and in September, and to rise in October and March um, on a specific day. Now, there is an app where we'll get to that probably a little later, where you can find where the sun rises and sets on a map, and you can plot out the next couple of days or weeks or even a year in advance to see where you can stand to take a picture of the sun rising and setting. Now, this picture was taken on March 1st, I think 2022 or 23. And for a few seconds, and I mean it only a few seconds, the sun will peek through the City Hall courtyard, as you can see on the bottom of this frame. Uh,
Mm.
at about, seven something in the morning. Uh, and if you miss it, you'll miss it. You won't be able to see the sun peek through here until, only until October. And um, now that's the sunrise, and the sunset is about 7:30 in the evening. I have a picture of the sun setting on Market Street. And because I got a SEPTA bus pulled over, that's one of my favorite other subjects to take pictures of. And this is the sunset that everyone is usually familiar with on social media um, in April and at 7:33. And the sun will set over Market Street. Now, every street that runs parallel to Market Street will have a sunset at the same time. That includes like Lehigh Avenue, Allegheny, Snyder, or any street that you can think of that goes east or west, South Street. And next month, it's going to happen again, and I'm going to go and get all the pictures I can get on every street I can get. Now, this picture was taken from the City Hall, Dilworth Park, facing towards Market Street West. You got 16th Street in the foreground and the silhouettes of all the people that are crossing and the traffic that's approaching. Now, now, this is I may have said it before. This is the famous solar Phillyhenge. Now, lesser known and harder to catch, unless you go out in the middle of the night, is the lunar Phillyhenge, which usually occurs at random arbitrary times during the year. You'd have to go and know what time and where the moon will set on certain days, because the moon's orbiting around the Earth and it's not always going to be in the same place as the sun is. Um, and this is the waxing crescent phase where the moon had set. See, let me see something. Okay, yeah, that was taken in February 21st at 11:37 p.m. Okay. It was close to the middle of the night. And usually a lot of these, a lot of really good shots that are hard to get. I wouldn't say hard to get, but just people wouldn't be as willing to get because, they would go to bed and stuff. Sometimes that's kind of what I do to make the my gallery more, uh the word is escaping my head, but definitely unique. Um, and this is definitely a uh kind of a rare event, but but it's not that rare. You can track it. Give me a second to gather my thoughts. Now, this is the same Market Street Phillyhenge that happens on April the 7th, I believe, and at about 7:20 something, it'll have the same effect on Market Street going west at the same time. This time I took this from 46th Street Station on the Market Frankfurt L, facing towards 52nd Street. Now the topography is climbing a little bit, so um, the position of the sun and when you chase this sunset to track it, you have to keep that in mind because if you go like the same day you go to City Hall, you would end up getting the sun kind of below the horizon or below the line, and you couldn't see it because it went below the tracks at the same time. Now, let me go double back to Market Street. If you took this on the same day, you would not be able to see it from 46th Street because the sun would be right down, below the line. I don't know if you can see my cursor moving around on the screen. I don't know if Zoom allows that, but if you can, just nod yes. If you cannot, then no. Oh,
Yeah, we
excellent,
can see it.
excellent. Okay, so the sun is going to be down here. Um, so you have to go wait like a day or two later in the spring or a day or two earlier in the fall, which would be September or late summer, I should say, to get the same type of look. Um, Now, here's the moon rising over the center city skyline from 63rd Street in West Philly. Um, this was in September of 2021. The full moon usually rises along Market Street in September, but usually give or take maybe a few degrees to the right or to the left. Now, what I'm getting into, while I started with Market Street, I also wanted to mention that all through the year there are other streets in the city that go different directions that you can also catch the sun setting or rising behind, or the moon setting or rising behind. And so technically you can have a Philly hinge all year round. Now this one, give me a moment, because I can always look up the date that this was taken because that's not something I have committed to memory. Yeah, October 7th. Okay, no, here we go. Forget that. I don't know if you guys cut or paste in the finished product, but if I have any errors, that's probably going to, go on YouTube too. But hey, we're all learning things, learning Zoom together. So this is Fairmount Street, and this is taken from Broad and Ridge, right across from the Divine Lorraine Hotel. And um, the Fairmount Street is not quite parallel to the rest of the street grid, so you'd have to give it a couple of weeks for the sun to move to its position. Now, further out in a different time of the year, this is Girard Avenue, right around Burke Street. This is the east side. This is facing away from that crazy interchange where Aramingo, Girard, Richmond, and I-95 all intersect. Very nice Philly skyline backdrop we got going on over here. Now, on a different time of the year on Girard Avenue still, this was in August. Uh, wait, was it August? October. Yeah, I'm way off. This was in October. This is Girard Avenue Bridge facing towards West Philly, and there's the Philadelphia Zoo on the left, and Schuylkill River right there. Same shop, Girard Avenue, but this time at a 600 millimeter telephoto view. Now, before I continue, does that anybody have questions or comments? Because I'm definitely willing to pause for any commentary.
Well, if anybody does, you can unmute yourselves and ask the question or put the question in the chat box, and then we will relay those to Michael whenever he has an opportunity.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so moving on. South Philadelphia, Passyunk Avenue. This is a sunset in February. This is one cold evening, and for some reason, the more hostile the weather is, the better my photography seems to turn out. Um, Interesting, but hey, 15 degrees Fahrenheit, still going out to get the shot while I have the means. Now, a few minutes later, when you walk further down Passyunk Avenue, going towards the bridge, it'll allow you enough time to grab this shot. Now, this is the Passyunk Avenue going towards that drawbridge that crosses the Schuylkill River, and I was standing on the sidewalk because the road curves to the left a little bit off the bottom of the foreground frame, and so you don't have to worry about me playing chicken with traffic to get this picture this time. Um, as a bonus, I included this silhouette of a SEPTA bus going across the same bridge just after the sun went down. I just think this is a really cool shot. The color and the minimalism, it's awesome. The next bridge down to the south is the Platte Bridge or the Penrose Avenue Bridge. A traffic nightmare, a sun glare nightmare, but my delight. This is when the sun will set right in um, the steel arch of the bridge. Pretty cool. Um, Photo taken November the 30th. Also, kind of chilly, but not as cold as when I did the Passyunk Avenue Bridge. Here's another deeper zoom of the same sunset on the Penrose Bridge, the Platte Bridge. Now, every December, on the shortest days of the year, so pretty much for the last 3 weeks of December and first 2 weeks into January, you'll have a good Phillyhenge sunset on City Line Avenue or City Avenue. This is facing towards St. Joseph University as seen from State Route 23, Conshohocken State Road. Um, Sunsets are, all they're, I can't say enough about how beautiful they are. So enough about the roads. Let's go to the tracks because that's what I do best, railroad photography. Um, this is the sunset up in Huntington Valley, PA. That this road over here is Red Line Road for anybody that's curious as to its exact location. This was a sunset that is along the straightest stretch of railroad track in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, the West Trenton line going between Philmont Station and Noble Station in Abington Township. Um, so the fact of it being straight and on a terrain like this means that you can zoom into 600 millimeters, crop into an equivalent of 900, and make your suns and moons look absolutely gigantic compared to your foreground subject. Of course, maybe the sun is your subject. Oh, look, a bicycle. There's a bike crossing Red Line Road. Some things you don't notice until post or until you present them years later. This is just a few moments later on the same track. The train is approaching Philmont Station, and the sun is the same size as the train practically, and the backlighting is just magical. You can see all the bugs and or dust or whatever, but it just kind of has this glittery confetti, shake the globe while, the music box globe effect to it, and it's really awesome to me. Um, Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. This is just outside Philly, but it still registers as Phillyhenge to me because it's still the metropolitan area, the Delaware Valley. This is um, Delaware County, between Chester and Philly. Sharon Hill, PA, you have the Acela Express, the fastest train in the US of A, approaching. Um, this is in the Northeast, also with Amtrak in the foreground. Now the compression is such that this Conrail track is looking pretty beat up, and trains are still only allowed to go about maybe 5 miles an hour. Yes, it's an active track, but it's only used about once or twice a day by Conrail Shared Assets operations. Well, these straight tracks, they're good for 110 or 120 miles an hour, and all the trains, SEPTA and Amtrak, can open up on them. The same northeast corridor, but further up northeast. This is Croydon, Pennsylvania, in Bucks County. This was another really deep zoom, and obviously a really large sun. This was in September, and it was a warm morning, so I don't have to worry about suffering frostbite or anything like that for this shot, which is a lucky break. Next, we have Marcus Hook, Pennsylvania. This is another sunset where it's like right on the horizon, right on the tree line, actually, and got SEPTA Regional Rail approaching from way in the distance. The compression is amazing because even the straightest tracks that allow for high speed limits just look very um, distorted, bent. But not to worry, there's not, they're good for high speed. It's just an illusion. Now, back in Center City, Philadelphia, we have a sunset on the Benjamin Franklin Bridge walkway. Now, there's a cubby out, jetting out, where you can stand and take pictures of the Patco train and not stand in the walkway. And this is the perfect spot to go get a good sunset, backlighting the train. And when you zoom in enough, you can. Oh, I close this pop-up window. You probably can't see it, but I can see it, and it's messing with the workflow. Okay, here we go. The compression is such that you can see the curve of the bridge so very easily. It looks like the bridge just descends like a roller coaster. Okay, now next we have another train track, West Trenton Line. This is not. This is further northeast. This is actually the northernmost or close to the northernmost train station in Philadelphia County. This is Somerton Station, and this one I took in February 18th. Okay, so it was a winter um, sunset. And by the way, if I mention the dates, which I will do in passing, that applies for the sun every single year. So it'll be the same day. So if it's a sunny day and you find yourself in that area and you remember what I showed in this video, you can definitely go and get one for yourself. It's totally worth the view. And the vitamin D. Now back to the L. This is the moon. Okay, it looks very noisy here. Yeah, because the ISO was like 10,000 because it was just so dark. But I definitely this is definitely a shot that I am glad I was able to get. This is in Northeast, or this is in Kensington, um, looking west and south towards Center City from the Erie Torresdale train station. We had the waxing crescent moon setting. This I know for sure was taken on March 2nd because that was 2020. This was taken on the last week before pandemic lockdown. This is the L from 63rd Street, the same station with the overpass that I got that moon shot going over the city from earlier. Yeah, this one. Yeah, 63rd Street station. Um, but this is March 2nd. You can get the sun rising low over the tracks and between the skyscrapers. This is the same day where you can stand at City Hall and get the picture that I shared with you guys first, where the sun is peeking through the hole in the courtyard. Yeah, this one, March 2nd. March 2. Keep that in mind. And that's a sunrise. Now, this is the sunset from 52nd Street Station on the same day as the famous Market Street and City Hall Phillyhenge, where the sun sets in April at 7:30. The sun is just a, beautiful sphere in the sky, looking so clean and Right. Moving on. Okay, I Somerton Station, still the northernmost station in the system in Philadelphia city limits. I should have like put it right after this, but I put them out of in different order. North Philadelphia Station in the sunrise in July. This is July the 25th, 5:58 a.m. You can see the sun rising over the train tracks at the North Philadelphia Regional Rail and Amtrak station. And we're about halfway through. I think that I should be good with time. Excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Michael, we have a question.
Yes.
There's a question in the chat window from David
Mhm.
Rodstein. It says, what software do you use to get the solar angle and location? And he also says, you're making the ordinary extraordinary.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
So he's wondering what software you use.
Okay. Give me a moment, please. I'm going to.
I used to do daylighting when I was a lighting designer, and I had a software that gave you the solar angles of every place in the world
Mhm.
every time
Now,
of day. You just put it, it just tells you where. It wouldn't tell you the location what you would do, but just give you the solar angles for skylighting and daylighting.
yeah, I have there's an app. There are a bunch of apps. I have an app called Luna Soul Cow. It's kind of like an interesting name. It's free. But it's very basic. It's kind of see the reflection of the screen on here, but you can look and see exactly what time the sun rises and sets at your from your location. And over here you can actually look and see, plot your visit. So the last place I was over here at this train station. This was actually set for yesterday. But unfortunately, the clouds got in the way, so I missed it completely. But that red line going towards the left is where the sun touches the horizon and sets. Now, what you want to do is go a few minutes before. Oh, give me a second. When you get when you rewind, when you look at the blue line on this app, you can see where the sun is going to be in the middle over the tracks, like in a straight line. That's where the henge that I speak of, the Phillyhenge, happens. Um, that only lasts for a minute, and then the sun is on the right side of the tracks as it sets below the horizon and disappears. Now, the pictures that I'm presenting are when the line is like directly over in a perfectly symmetrical fashion. Now, there are other apps like Photo Pills, which can be better because they have an augmented reality. Um, they have an augmented picture of whatever your street view is, and it'll show you where in the sky your celestial objects that you're looking for will be. I don't have Photo Pills here for demonstration, but it's a very it's a really neat app. It's really cool. You have to pay for it though. It's worth it. But I use Luna Soul Cal because it's lightweight, it doesn't consume a ton of data, and it's super simple. And that's what I use. And I go by those coordinates. Now, if I may, any more questions or comments before I go back to the show?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay. Now I just want to make sure you saw my face when I was just showing you the app, right? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go back to the folder. All right. Moving on. Delaware County, this is the trolley tracks looking to west of Vermont Road in the Drexel Hill region of Delaware County. Um, Now we're going to go to back to the roads again. This is Hunting Park Avenue. This is in the wintertime, and this is close to me. This is the sun setting from, I believe this is 18th Street and Hunting Park Avenue, got all the traffic. Now this one is a little bit harder to get because you have to, I there was no island for me to stand in the middle of. So if the light was, if these cars were closer or the light behind me was green, which it was red, so I was okay. That would be considered playing chicken with traffic, and I would not recommend that. Now, same deal, two SEPTA buses and the sun right there in between. This is 22nd and Lehigh in North Philly. Baltimore Avenue in Southwest Philly got the 34 trolley, which they recently renamed as the T2. SEPTA changed to letters, but that's another topic for another time. Um,
About a half hour, make some sound.
Same for me.
Huh?
Same for me. I'm coming down in half an hour.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
I think the mic was accidentally on that person's screen.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, let's go back. Now, this is the Philadelphia Fairmount Waterworks. This is a very popular wedding destination. This is something to keep in mind if anybody in this audience is a wedding photographer, and they know what time that they want to go and get their best shot. If you want a good Phillyhenge wedding portrait, just come here at August 1st at 7:42 p.m. to get this type of shot. It's really cool. The gazebo right there. Now, next, this is a one-time thing. This was June 10th, 2021, and there was a partial solar eclipse, or actually an annular solar eclipse that happened, but it became partial before the sun rose on the horizon. This is the sunrise on June 10th, um, with the Tacony Palmyra Bridge. And the sun was actually just ending its eclipse, and the moon is moving away, but it's still in its crescent phase. And this is pretty amazing sight to behold. This was on taken from a dock on the Frankford side of the Delaware River. And of course, and we got a nice truck in the middle to um, give it a nice touch. This is the stairway. This is one of many stairways in the Roxborough and Manayunk neighborhood of Philadelphia during sunset in the shorter days of the year. Um, Not fun to drive down here when it snows. Now, here's the sunset at Oak Lane Road. This is just outside of Philadelphia city limits in the Cheltenham Township, Pennsylvania. This is another this is a winter solstice type of shot. This type of thing that you would only get during the sh very short days of the year. This is just a small stretch of road. I look on the map and see which roads are going a certain direction, and when if the sun lines up with it, I will go and chase it down. This is one of those completely random, arbitrary roads that everyone, most people would take for granted because it's just an ordinary suburban road that you drive to get to where you need to live or go shopping or go to the laundromat or something like that. Okay, now Michael Pearson comes through and gets the best sunset you've ever seen on this road. And then you'll never think about that road the same way again when you drive down it. You're welcome. Now we have the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. This is um, give me a second. Let me see what time of year, what day this was taken. August 21st, 2023. Okay. Yeah, this was the sunset you could take from the walkway um on the north side of the bridge, which has been closed for a while. Actually, it usually only opens when the sun is on the right side of the bridge from this point of view, whereas for most of the shorter days of the year, the south side of the Ben Franklin Bridge on the left is open. Now, If you double back to where the Patco picture is, this was a previous sunset where the south side walkway was open. Only one side is open at a time. And yeah, on the longest days, the north side is open. So the Delaware River Port Authority is pretty accommodating when it comes to me hunting down Philly henges, which is awesome. Now, do you guys have any different questions or comments? Because take a I need to pause from the screen just for a moment.
You have us mesmerized with with the sun. And are you like a sun god?
Well, no, I am not a sun god, matter of fact, but I am like um I am a big fan of the sun and the god that made the sun. Well, I will say that I'm more like a connoisseur that is looking to start a trend out of this admiration for the sun and the geometry that goes into it. It's it's one of those niches that a lot of people aren't really like used to doing, trying, or experimenting with, but I think it's really something that's worth
Mhm.
checking out.
It's just
Um,
absolutely amazing. It's amazing. And the other thing is you make it look easy. I
oh man, it's a lot harder than
know.
it looks. Trust
It's a lot
me.
harder than it looks.
But with
You make
trial and
it
error, you get the hang of it. It'll become like breathing. It'll be a second nature, like riding a bike. Checking these things and mapping out the your coordinates and also checking the weather forecast to make sure that you're good. Of course, there'll be some hit or miss because of a last minute clouds or the road is closed or something happens where you might not be able to get it then. Um, you know, you get two chances for most of these per
It's
year.
absolute dedication. It's amazing. Yes. Okay, let's move on. I want to see more. Woo!
Woo! All right, let's get this road on the show. All right. Let me go back to the sharing thing. I hope that the oh, okay. I have more to okay, now this sunset I didn't talk about it yet, but this was taken from Pennsauken, New Jersey in the when you stand under the um you stand under
Okay, Michael, we don't see the images.
oh, okay. Let me turn screen sharing back on. Thank you for bringing me up to speed on that. Woo, that was close. We almost missed the show. All right. Pennsauken, New Jersey, the Remedy Island Park. This is located right between the Betsy Ross Bridge and the Del Air Bridge, and it's a 2 minute walk or 5 minute walk from the Pennsauken Transit Center where the River Line and the Atlantic City train go. So those that don't drive can definitely have access to these amazing sites pretty, quickly. And that I'm here to kind of like show that, I can pretty much go anywhere and get that shot and just make it pop. And I appreciate all of you guys for um reminding me that in the comment section of these pictures on Facebook and stuff. That inspires me to keep on going with it. This picture is on the Delaware River. It's taken from the Neshaminy State Park in Bucks County. Now, this is the farthest away picture I have of the sun and the Philadelphia skyline. Now, this is not something that I would consider Phillyhenge per se. This is just more of just a telephoto of the sun with the city in the background because I'm not lining it up with a road. I'm just, making it look large in the background in a telephoto shot, but it's still an honorary mention. It's definitely a one of my favorite pictures. This you can get on the winter solstice every single year, and you stand 17 miles away, at the Neshaminy State Park. That bridge back there is the Tacony Palmyra, and you can just see how close it is to Philly in this telephoto image. When in reality it's pretty far away. So everything is very compressed. You know, um, good compression makes a good shot. Now, the next one is kind of like now this is the last few pictures I want to share. It's not quite Phillyhenge and it's not in Philly, but it's a cool optical illusion that I want to give you guys as a bonus. Now, here we have an ordinary sunset over the Delaware Bay. This is from New Jersey, where um, there's like East Point Lighthouse, I believe it is, and some of the best. This is just an amazing sunset. This was taken on. I gotta get this for reference. April 28th, 2024, not too long after the solar eclipse. This was a day where it got really hot suddenly after being cold for several months or weeks, I should say. And so the air over the water was cold, but the air where I was standing was actually quite warm, and most of the air above me was warm. So now when hot and cold air meet, they can kind of bend the light a little bit and make the sun and everything on the horizon look interesting and distorted. Now here we have the sun setting. Now it already is looking very oval-like. This is the cold air. This dark band right here is cool air, and the warm air is the more vividly colored band of light above it. Now, when the sun drops below that band, you can see that it just kind of splits. This is called a fata morgana. A fata morgana is is gives that illusion where things are upside down, inverted, stacked on top of each other, or just floating in mid-air, even though they are on or even below the horizon. And when they set below the horizon, you can still sort of see the atmosphere bringing that light to you like a fiber optic cable. Now we have the ice cream sandwich sun, which is just the sun having an interesting like bend and warped and looking kind of cool then as it passes through the layer of cold air, and it's starting to look like an hourglass. And now finally it breaks apart, and then you have half of the sun just hanging above the horizon, and the line of cold and warm air is just the sun is setting behind a gradient of air. The sun is setting into thin air. It's kind of cool. That idiom becomes real life through an illusion of a picture. Something goes into thin air or comes out of thin air. Anyway, the sun is set now. The sun is below the horizon, but you can still kind of sort of see it. But that is the end of the day and the end of the Fata Morgana and the end of my slideshow for today. I want to thank everybody for coming and seeing this. Now, does anybody have any questions or comments on this before I
There
continue?
was another question. Where
Mhm.
did you study photography?
I'm glad you asked that question. I did not study photography in any schools. This is all stuff I just kind of learned. I pick up a camera, uh, you know, wear my way through it, and then want to get a bigger camera and upgrade and just, keep on going. The Playing with light, uh, color, illusions, all that kind of stuff. Um, don't need a school for that. That's like real world experience, trial and error, and then also a network of people that you build just by approaching, meeting other photographers in the streets, networking, and you know, I didn't need school to meet you guys.
Yeah,
Um,
I have a question. Michael, very nice presentation.
Thank you.
Glad you shared those pictures with us. Will you talk just for a few minutes about equipment and exposures? You talked, I guess, about a very long lens. You're always using a long lens, and then on the exposure side, do you have any ch specific challenges that you have to adjust for in the way you set your camera like that?
All right, now I'm glad you asked, and I will be jumping back to the screen for, here and there just for examples. Now, firstly, I use or prefer to use this lens, the 150 to 600, the Tamron lens, the G2 version. That's the one I use. And, the longer the telephoto range, the closer you can bring the sun to you, and that's what I do when I take those pictures with um, the city skyline way in the distance, and you have a big sun. The winter solstice shot that I showed you like towards the end. Now now this one was taken at 600 millimeters, but I cropped it down to to about half of what the original focal length was, so probably like 1200. No teleconverters. I have a teleconverter, but it's kind of like not really the best. So I just use the camera as is and just crop it in on a Nikon D750. Um, Exposure wise, you could keep your ISO as low as possible. It's easy to do when you're looking at the sun. But my thing to do is to underexpose the foreground so that would look like a silhouette and just slightly. But because you don't want to blow out the sky or blow out the sun, which is easy to do when you're exposing for the buildings. But if you expose for the buildings, yeah, you'll blow it out. So I underexpose so they become silhouettes. And then I can bring up the dynamic range in post, or I can, do a bracket. This picture is actually a single shot. This Neshaminy sunset over the Delaware is a single shot, which I brought the shadows up in post the best I could without it depreciating too much in quality and being very printable and and all. Um, but yeah, my favorite thing to do when I take pictures of the sun is to underexpose the rest of everything else so that it looks like a silhouette, and then work with that. Now, before one more thing. Now, it's kind of harder with the with crop sensor camera bodies because I have tried this with an entry level body, and it seems like I can bring down. It's like the inverse. I can bring down highlights better than I can bring up shadows on crop sensor cameras. This full frame body, I can bring out shadows easier. And then also there is a new crop sensor camera, the Z50 and the D500, the last crop sensor DSLR that came out, that has some really good dynamic range too. Actually, pretty amazing dynamic range for the size of the sensor it has. So, yeah, the D500, the Z50, those are some good ones. Um, yeah, so next, question or comment?
I have a
Outstanding.
question. Oh, I'm so sorry. If somebody else wanted to go first, go ahead.
Mhm.
No, sorry to interrupt. I was just saying outstanding.
Hey, Markwell, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're
Thanks
good,
for coming
brother.
to watch. No, so this is Markwell. This is one of my photography partners. We travel all over the place and get some shots. I put him onto the henge business, the henge world, um, Phillyhenge and everything like that. And then he's out going to Chicago and San Francisco and Boston to get these henge sunsets. And man, uh, this guy is sentient inspiration.
No,
So he will keep the trend going, and that's kind of the objective that I have for this show is to like get people interested in this cool effect that a lot of people take for granted, especially considering that it's usually the worst time when you're driving. Everybody hates sun glare, but when you look at it from a different lens or perspective, you get some cool stuff, cool art. Now, before I get any more questions, I think there was one that I forgot to answer from Michael Silverman about exposure. Now, this is a challenge when you're taking pictures of the sun on a clear sunset, is that it can still blind you, even if it's dimmer in the sky. You can't look directly at it with your unaided eye. And you definitely can't look at it with the viewfinder because now you're putting the magnifying glass right to your eyeball. You don't want that. Now, what I do is I use the live view feature on my camera. Good thing that it has one. And then I can set the aperture to like f18, 20, f20. And that way I don't have to let too much light in and I can like at least view the picture without going blind and without frying my camera. Now, a neutral density filter would be good, but the one I have would be way too dark. I would use that to actually look at the sun during the day for an eclipse. But for a Phillyhenge shot, you can actually just use your regular exposure with no filter and just, bring the shutter speed way high to like 2,000 to 4,000th of a second, and then just kind of like work with the dynamic range and your results may vary, and also the filtration of the clouds or the of the sun through a thin veil of clouds can change your exposure settings too. So you can still get it, just be looking through some clouds and kind of adjusting your aperture and shutter speed accordingly. Next. Yes, Anna.
Oh, great, man. Can you hear me?
Oh, may I?
Yes.
First of all, I mean, amazing presentation, and I love the sunsets. Who doesn't? But especially in the city, Philadelphia is such a great city, and amazing, amazing photography.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Wanted to ask, like, do you plan your visits, or you just like at this stage you probably know where to go, but at the beginning, like, did you use the app, or was it just from your experience? How do you like how to approach this, for example, from the point of from the perspective that you haven't done it before?
Okay, now, so when I first started or first heard of Phillyhenge, it was actually as a reference to it was something that I saw on social media. A lot of people were posting the same time of year. Hey, look at this amazing sunset. I would see an influx of posts every April and every September, and then every summer solstice in New York when they have the Manhattan Henge. Um, so I wanted to look into it and be like, how can people check this out? I was into astronomy off and on for my entire life, in fact, longer than photography, but um I didn't get into astrophotography or pictures like this until I saw um those Phillyhenge and Manhattan Henge pictures. When I noticed that when I was told that there was an app for that, I looked to see what other apps there were for like tracking the sun and the moon and stuff like that. And I'm like, I had a where have you been all my life moment when I downloaded that app because it made planning a lot easier, which by the way, yes, I do a lot of planning for every single shot that I showed you guys. I had to like plan in advance, except for the I believe it was the Market Frankfurt sunrise shots. That sometimes I can just be there and it happens and I am just equipped with my camera and it's just like, hey, lucky catch. But 99% of the time these days I plan it out to make sure that I can get it lined up just right because, you know, um if I was to show you guys the picture I took of the sun rising in Bucks County in Croydon, that one is extreme precision. You can only get this once. If you wait one day late, the sun will be this high up. It'll be like one sun's width above the horizon from where it is on this specific day. Um, Now with the app, you can see that when the red and the blue line. Matter of fact, let me see if I can go back to my screen and show you the app that I had just opened.
Go to a place many times to see to check it out, like
hmm
just once.
I go I go several times because sometimes if I don't like the first picture, I'll go 6 months or a year later and get a better one.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes. Now, um, I'm just going on here on the Luna Soul Cal app. That's the name of it. Um,
I just got a hinge today.
all right, give me a second. Now, April. All right, so this is City Hall. This is the famous Phillyhenge where you get it on Market Street in April. Now, if the line where the sun sets below the horizon is directly on the road, you won't be able to see it because the sun will already be like below the line, right? So what you want to do is you want to go on a day where the line is just slightly above Market Street, okay? And when it's just like 1 degree above it, that's when the sun is going to be very low on the horizon, and you'll see it like almost touch the road. Now, that's April 7th. I'll be there. Now, if you wait a day later, you can see that that line is just a little bit higher, so the sun is going to be higher in the sky. You'll still get a good picture, but of course the sun's not going to touch the horizon when it's in the middle of the road, but it'll be a little bit higher up. And I don't think you'll really go wrong for about a week. After a week, the sun will be a little bit too high up and too bright and too overpowering to really make a good shot. So I like it best when it's really low on the horizon when the leading lines, converge to it.
That's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got a hinge today.
Any other questions, comments? Oh, Marquel, where did you get your henge?
Dalesford.
Dale's. See, that's where I went yesterday, but clouds got in the way. I'm glad that
It
you're
was
able to
successful.
I'm glad you're able to finish the job. I can't wait to see the pictures. So, yep, keep up the good work.
Of course.
Okay. Any more questions or comments?
Studying the moon.
You have us, you
Okay.
have us memorize, you have us in shock.
Oh,
The pictures are so amazing. And you kind of, at first, we're looking at these pictures, you make it seem so easy. Oh, you just go and you go click, 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 and you get these shots. And then you start talking about what you need to do to get these images. And then whatever image we liked, then we begin to love them because we realize of what's going in to capturing writing with light. The whole photographic society was all about writing with light. And oh my gosh,
yeah.
you have just
Mind blowing.
it's incredible. It's just really good. Um, yeah,
Thank you. I
there
really
was
appreciate
a
it.
comment which said great work created with great planning and dedication.
Oh, thank you. I need to read
The,
these
pho-
comments. I
the
yeah.
photos be mind blowing. I enjoy them every moment.
It's,
Oh, okay.
it's
Yeah, thank you. All right, yes. About the moon. Now you can do the same thing on the app for the moon, but um, like I said it before, that it'll be a little bit harder to kind of do the exact same thing at the same time of the year because the way the moon spins, it doesn't happen on the exact same day each year. The full moon and the new moon and stuff like that. But it's still great stuff to look at and look for. And also, some of the best moon Philly henges tend to happen during the worst hours of the night. So,
Oh, Lord.
but it's
Don't
worth
remind me of that.
in certain cases. It can be worth it, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to get the pictures that while I can, and then when my time passes, which that it's going to keep going for a very long time. I should hope. Then the next generation of photographers and explorers will get to see this, try this out for themselves, and uh make really wonderful art. And in times like this, when there's just all sorts of craziness and unrest and dysfunction, a good um bit of sunlight and art can really like brighten their day up. No pun intended.
Thank you for the humor.
My pleasure.
Every hinge turns out
Now,
to be mind blowing. I love every single one we shoot.
now, what I would like to do, like one day in the future, I would, I'm going to do a different, um, some other cool themes. Phillyhenge is my current favorite, and it will be for a foreseeable amount of time, especially when combined with, trains and railroads. But another thing I'd like to do a presentation on sometime in the future is like the before and after, because
Yes, finally.
going around the city and the region for 16 years, I can't believe it. I've been doing this exploration thing for 16 years, and I see a lot of places develop, a lot of buildings decay, get torn down, new ones go up in their places. Most of what a city builds on is its own self. And I've been around taking pictures in Philly just long enough that I'm able to see a lot of cool differences being made. So you'll see a lot of those. It's kind of like on the style of WHYY's Things That Aren't There Anymore series. Um,
Hmm.
Something like that. That's what I'm kind of going into. Ever since I found that picture from 2015 where I have this bare foundation of the tallest building in the city now. It's in another folder, so I won't show it now. But it's on Facebook too. The That just kind of reminded me, hey, you know what? All the stuff that I was making time to see, I'm glad I got to see it when I did. I'm glad that I was able that I decided, to go and get the shot even if the weather is bad because you never know when you won't see that structure ever again. Same thing with the Key Bridge in Baltimore. I drove
Ugh,
across it a couple of years ago in 2023 and then, parked over at this park to get a nice picture of it before continuing on the journey, and I didn't know that that would be the only picture I'd ever take of it.
sad.
And Marquell was with me for that.
Ugh,
Shout out to you, bro.
you know
So,
it. Craziest thing is I was on there the day before it collapsed.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, any more questions, comments?
Well, David, Michael, I hope you come back and show us some of those pictures that you're talking about
Oh yeah, definitely.
before and after.
Next. So yeah, stay tuned. Philadelphia Photographic
We're gonna
Society.
stay
I'll
tuned.
be back with before and after. You'll see all sorts of cool things. You'll see some old trains that got retired years ago. You'll see
Wow.
old things in their old form. Now here's a catch. There is a catch. I'm too young to have pictures of the old Reading lines and Pennsylvania Railroad and the GG1 locomotives,
Mm.
but they were some amazing trains. I love watching videos of them. But I do have some like some older train pictures. I have some old pictures of the building on South Penn Square when it still had the PNB on it. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and the helicopter came and tried to lift them off and then realized how heavy they were. And the
Oh yeah.
helicopter got a little stuck.
Oh, just
Mm.
a little stuck. Oh, that's not really yeah, that's not fun.
That was exciting.
That's
Yeah.
not funny at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I those now at least they were intact. They didn't fall or anything like that. That would have been scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. So really, thank you, thank you. You've inspired us. That's what we try to do once a month. Give us an hour. We'll inspire you. We'll teach you some. You will come away learning something. You will come away inspired by a technique, by amazing photography, and just thank you. That's what I have been pushing for and working towards for 100 and well, not me, just 162
Wait a minute.
years, but almost three. Yeah, or yeah. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think another Michael. has a screen. There we go. This is for April.
Mhm.
A way to create better pictures with a unique photo.
So you
And
want to talk
so
about that a little bit, Mike?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you say it one more time?
I'm sorry, I was.
another Mike. We
Oh,
got a
you
lot
have
of
another.
Michaels.
I was
Oh yeah, Michael.
Mike
Right.
Silverman, basically, is the one who's been working with Unique Photo, and also John Benigno to some. They've been sort of tag teaming with Unique, uh, getting us collaborated with them for exchanging presentations. And so I think Mike is the one who would want to talk about this particular presentation. Am I right about that, Mike?
Well, I don't know how much I can really add, at this point, but next meeting, the manager of Unique Photo will be giving us like a little tour of the store by Zoom. And he's going to be showing us some equipment. He's going to talk about kind of trends in the industry. And he's also going to be talking about services that Unique has for photographers just like us. So that'll be next month's presentation.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Definitely look forward to it.
Yeah, hello?
Do you have a comment?
Gilbert, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sorry for coming late. I just came from work and I knew Michael was going to be on, so I wanted to attend. This is my first meeting. And Michael, about 4 years ago, is when I discovered your work, and it was on Instagram. And I was more busy on Instagram then, but I think that your work is excellent. And when I joined Facebook, I joined this Philadelphia photography page also, and your photos always stood out. So I'm hungry and I don't, I didn't eat yet, but just wanted to tell you that I've always looked at your photos and thought that you do a lot of great work.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
And also I've seen that you've gotten into the train series and the sun series, but you also take a lot of other photos before you even
Yes.
got into that are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Man, there's a lot of genres I had done that they would take, I would have to do like what? I do a presentation every week for the next 10 years and every something it'll be different. But yeah, I'm glad that, Gilbert mentioned that. Yes, I am pretty diverse, but yeah, my forte is the trains and the suns. Um, and yeah, I definitely look forward to sharing more. And yeah, and this will be on this will
It'll
be
be
on
on
the
YouTube.
Photography Society's YouTube page. So if you missed this show, you'll definitely be able to come and watch
I
and
will
read
send
about it.
out the link as soon as it's downloaded to there. I will send out the link.
Ah,
Amazing.
wonderful.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for letting me sit in today.
Mhm. Well, good.
Very interesting.
Welcome.
All right.
Do we say good
Now
night?
I think this will be about adjourning time.
You
So
don't you don't
I
have any
thank
any
you
good night.
everybody
You don't
for
have any good night jokes.
um
Oh Lord.
well, I mean,
Oh,
I
I better
have
keep my
jokes, but
mouth shut.
I have jokes, but I'm saving them for April 1st on
I could
Facebook.
use a good laugh.
Um uh I have some, but
Okay,
for
we'll wait.
now I want to thank everybody for joining, and for those that would join later, definitely those will be able to see me on YouTube later on. Hello as well. And I got, if it's okay to mention it, I am on YouTube myself as well. I go by Train Wizard, and on here, I do have a title called the Photo Wizard. That actually is like a real like business name, but Train Wizard is my YouTube name. That's my title where I post my railroad videos. Now, my still pictures I'll put on Facebook. My videos I'll put on the YouTube. So,
Okay. Thank you.
definitely stay connected and follow, and I do and subscribe, and I'd be grateful. And I look forward to seeing the future art shows from other artists as well. And thank you guys for
Okay, thank you.
having
We'll
me.
look
And
forward to seeing you. Look forward to meeting you in person.
oh, I hope to see you guys in the streets again. And I definitely would love to see you again, Miss Eileen. It's always a delight.
It used to be so accidental.
Oh yeah.
Through the years, it was always so, oh, boo, yeah, there you are. Here I am.
Yeah. And look what accidents can lead to. That's the butterfly effect.
Exactly. His
Wonderful.
work inspired me to do photography. I enjoy every moment of it. Team Nikon all day.
All right, guys.
That's what the
Yeah,
Photographic
I actually,
Society is all
yeah,
about.
it
Writing
will
with
be
light.
time for me to
All
go and
day.
plug this device into charge.
Okie
I'm out of
dokie.
outlets.
Take
But
care, everyone. Good night. Good
do
night.
really
it.
good presentation,
Take care,
Michael. Thank you.
everyone. See you
Thank you
guys.
for this awesome presentation. This was awesome.
So good night, everybody.